Hey, it's Julie. I wanted to do kind of a little pregnancy kind of video. Being a woman who was overweight and pregnant, I experienced quite a few things that I think could be helpful for other people. So this video is completely dedicated to pregnancy. So if you watch me for weight loss, no need to watch this video. But this is my baby. She's about 10 months old now, and she's a real cutie. I also have an older daughter who's 3.5, and between the two of them, I've kind of experienced quite a few things related to being obese and pregnant. With my oldest, I was about 220 pounds when I got pregnant with her, and went up to about 260 when I delivered. With this baby, I weighed right around 245 pounds when I got pregnant with her, and really, and during the pregnancy, I was very motivated to not gain too much. I knew that I was already heavier than I was with my first, and I just didn't want to balloon up. And I ended up right around 260 again at the time of delivery with this baby. And at one point, when I was in the first trimester, I was quite sick, and, you know, typical pregnancy sickness, just nausea, not really any vomiting, but just I was constantly nauseous. And I would find that if I ate, I felt sick, but if I let myself get too hungry, I would be sick. So it was kind of difficult to find that balance. So I actually ended up down about 241 pounds, so I lost about 5 pounds during the first trimester. But once the second trimester kicked in, I definitely kept doing good and gained a little bit. But all in all, from the very lowest weight I reached during that first trimester, I gained only 19 pounds. So I did quite well with my second baby as far as gaining, and my doctor was very happy with how I did. A couple of the side effects that I had with pregnancy, being overweight, I did have gestational diabetes. I had a lot of swelling, which I know happens with most women anyways, but I found that I had a lot of swelling. Also, I, at one point, was seeing spots and had to go in to be tested. But I took non-stress tests and had a lot of ultrasounds to kind of just keep up with the baby's health. And so I kind of feel like I have a lot of information I can share. So about the swollen feet, my legs and feet would swell. I was pregnant in the summer, quite far along. My baby was born in October. So the later months of my pregnancy were in the warmer weather. And I went on a vacation, which was approved by my doctor, that involved quite a bit of driving. And I found that the whole time I was on that trip, I was just completely swollen. My feet were huge. And in the end, I ended up telling my doctor, you know, I'm still swollen after my trip. It's been a week. And they just had me kind of keep my feet up and just kind of rest. So the swelling did go away once the baby was born, but I spent the later months of my pregnancy pretty swollen. I did have gestational diabetes during both of my pregnancies. With my first, I was able to manage it a lot better. With this second pregnancy, it was a little bit harder to manage it, and they had to up my medication. I took glyburide, and if I remember right, I think I was taking 2 pills at 2.5, so 5 milligrams 3 times a day, 2 or 3 times a day. I remember at least in the morning at night, so maybe only twice a day, 5 milligrams. But I found that my sugars were typically always higher than they should be when I woke up. And I found out that you're typically more insulin resistant in the morning. And I thought that was interesting because I never, in the time they were tracking me, had a blood sugar reading that was at a low enough level in the mornings. But later on in the day, I was able to control my blood sugars through what I ate. It was just that fasting, wake up in the morning blood sugar that was always too high. But they were able to get me pretty good with the medication and through my diet. I found that I was cutting out all sugar completely. And the things that I found that helped me when I was doing this was I ate a lot of vegetables, a lot. In fact, I would end most of my meals with vegetables or like eggs. In the morning, I would try to only eat protein. I found that if I ate yogurt and granola, my blood sugars were way high in the morning. So I ended up just doing eggs. And something that I actually really liked to do and made it quick and easy in the morning was kind of make omelets in your muffin tin. And I think you bake them at like 350 for 10 minutes or until the egg sets. But that was my lifesaver with having to work, is making those little egg muffins. They helped me keep my blood sugars in check. Something I really liked were low-carb, high-protein tortillas. I was able to use those for sandwiches, like breakfast burritos, basically anything. I ate a lot of low-carb, high-protein tortillas. They're La Tortilla Factory, and I think they're great. They're my favorite thing. Something else I found is that string cheese is a great snack. It helps keep your blood sugars regulated as well. Also, if you walk quickly after eating, that also can help kind of, oh, are you going to be sad? Maintain your blood sugar. But something else that I found was, oh, you are the saddest baby ever. She's going to be sad now that I'm trying to make this video. She's been mostly happy all day. Other things I ate a lot of were cottage cheese. I ate a lot of nuts. Hopefully they won't leach through her and give her nut allergies, but I don't think they will. I was told to eat at least 3 meals every day and have snacks. And try to aim for 40 to 60 grams of carbs per meal. And for breakfast, because you're more insulin resistant in the morning, to try for no more than 45 grams of carbs. And they told me to try to always eat good fats, olive oil, canola oil, avocados, nuts, almonds, walnuts, things like that. So I found that I was pretty good at maintaining, although I did have one indulgence where I went to a party and we had this decadent chocolate cake, and I had been good all day knowing I was going to have this cake, but my blood sugars were sky high when I tested them after dinner, and they were really, really high the next morning. So think hard before you indulge like that, because I regretted it. And then when I had to show my doctor the numbers and how high they were, I felt like, oh, shoot. But next thing I want to talk about is when I was seeing spots. One day I was just working, and all of a sudden I noticed I was kind of seeing spots, and it really freaked me out. So I contacted my doctor's office, and my midwife told me to come in immediately to the maternity ER. So I went in and they tested me. They put monitors on to check the baby and checked my blood pressure, everything, and everything was pretty good. But in the end, they never found out what it was that was causing me to see the spots. But it could have been something bad. It could have been dangerous. It could have been preeclampsia is what they were afraid of. Luckily, I did not have that. So if you're having any symptoms like that, definitely go in, or at least call your doctor. I'm sure they'll have you come in. Something else that I experienced with my first daughter, not with my second, was low amniotic fluid. I ended up having very low amniotic fluid towards the end of my pregnancy. They found it when they were doing my non-stress test. And basically, if you don't know, a non-stress test at my hospital was I would come in, sit in a recliner with my legs up. They would put a monitor on my belly to watch the baby and a monitor to check for contractions. And then I would press a little button indicating kick count. And they would just keep an eye on the baby, make sure that the baby had heart accelerations and decelerations, which a normal person would through activity and non-active moments. But during one of those times, they found that I had like 3 centimeters of amniotic fluid, which is basically nothing. And so they monitored me very closely, and actually on one of my later appointments, they found that my amniotic fluid was just way too low, so they ended up inducing me. And that was with my first child. With this child, I was also induced because of the gestational diabetes. I was induced about, a little over a week early with this one, and about 10 days early with my first. But, sorry, I'm kind of just looking at my notes. When this baby was born, she had high blood sugar, and during my delivery, they put me on insulin to kind of help keep my blood sugar regulated, because I don't know why, but it went very high during my delivery. And I was induced, I delivered vaginally, and I had an epidural. But when she was born, they were afraid that her blood sugar was too low, that they would have to supplement her with formula, and I didn't want to have that happen. I'm a breastfeeding mother and really wanted her to only have breast milk. So luckily I was able to breastfeed her at the hospital. Once she was born, I breastfed her pretty quick, and everything went up from there. So she ended up being really good and hasn't had any problems since that moment. And something I worry about, though, is that I've heard that babies whose mothers have had gestational diabetes or who are overweight when they're pregnant are more likely that the child will be overweight or have diabetes. And so that's something that I worry about and hope won't happen to this or my older daughter. I found that as far as maternity clothes go, I really liked Old Navy. I found that their extra large fit me quite well at 240 some odd pounds, and so I liked their pants, I liked their shirts. I found that they were less expensive than like Motherhood, and You have to buy a lot of them online, but they do have some in the store. So I like Old Navy. That's really all I can think about right now. I'm going to go ahead and insert a picture of me towards the end of my pregnancy. At least one of them will be the day before. It might be the only one I show. I can't remember right now how many pictures I had of my belly, but I'll go ahead and insert them now. Just so you all know, my baby is about 10 months old, and I'm hovering right around 230 pounds right now. So I haven't been the best at losing the baby weight, or it actually wasn't even baby weight. The baby weight's gone, but just the weight I've held on to. So I'm still overweight and still working on it. So hopefully I can be better and healthier and give my kids a really good, healthy life. But I wish you all the best if you're overweight and pregnant. Just make sure you keep track of those baby's kicks, and if you have anything that makes you worry, give your doctor a call. Best wishes to you all.